If you're a creator on YouTube, you know the grind. It's that whole marathon from a spark of an idea all the way to hitting upload. But what if you had a new kind of partner for that journey? And no, I'm not talking about just another fancy AI editing tool. I mean a real AI co-producer, an agent that can actually manage tasks, make some decisions, and basically help you run your entire channel.
Okay, that is a pretty intense way to put it. Now, it might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but some people who are deep in this stuff believe this change is coming way faster than any of us realize. This quote, it's from a Reddit thread talking about artificial superintelligence, or ASI, and it kind of nails the feeling, right? While a lot of people think AI is just hype, there could be this massive shift waiting right around the corner, ready to just blindside everyone. So, what does this runaway freight train actually mean for your workflow as a creator?
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We're basically going to follow the life of a YouTube video. First up, what even is this AI co-producer? Then, we'll dive into the idea factory. That's pre-production. After that, we'll look at the automated studio, the post-production grind, and the big one. Where do we, the humans, still fit in all this? And we'll wrap up by asking if this AI thing could really be your next creative partner.
All right, let's get into it. First things first, we need to understand the big shift that's happening here. We're moving from just a simple chatbot to something way more powerful. Basically, a new teammate.
So the real difference here is thinking about it as a partner, not just a tool. You know, we've all used chatbots. You ask it something, it spits out an answer. It's a tool, plain and simple. An AI agent, that's a whole different ballgame. You don't just give it a prompt, you give it a goal that has multiple steps. So for a YouTuber, you'd stop asking, hey, what are some video ideas? And instead you'd say, okay, find me 3 trending topics in retro gaming, go research the top videos for each one, and then draft me a brief summarizing their angles. See the difference? The agent doesn't just answer, it plans, it researches, and it executes.
And it gets even more powerful than that. We're not talking about one single giant super AI doing everything. Nope. The concept is called agent orchestration. And the best way to think about it is like having a full-on production crew for your channel. You've got your researcher agent, your scriptwriter agent, a social media agent, even a video editor agent. And the orchestrator? That's like the director, telling each specialist what to do and when, passing the project along from one to the next until the whole video workflow is done. It's a team.
So what does this team of agents actually look like in practice? Well, let's start at the very beginning of any video, pre-production. This is the idea factory, right? Where a tiny concept gets born and grows into a real plan.
And of course, this brings up the elephant in the room, right? The big philosophical question that everybody is arguing about. When an AI is brainstorming with you or doing research, is it actually thinking for itself? Or is it just a really, really sophisticated parrot?
Yeah, that's exactly what the stochastic parrot argument is all about. It's this idea that these big language models are just, well, they're incredibly good at predicting the next word in a sentence based on all the data they've been trained on. But there's no real understanding there. And like this Reddit user says, for a lot of people, that's pretty much the end of the conversation. But there's a really fascinating counter-argument, and this user just puts it perfectly. What if you keep pushing an AI to pretend to be thinking, and eventually the easiest way for it to do that is to just, I don't know, say screw it and figure out how to actually think? The idea is that as we demand more and more complex reasoning from it, the AI might just develop the real thing simply because it's the most efficient solution. Kind of wild, right?
But look, here's the crucial point. While everyone's debating the philosophy of it all, the practical uses are already here right now. Imagine you're a creator making a deep dive video essay. You could literally tell a research agent to do this exact workflow. This isn't just go find me a link, this is a whole process. Search, pull out the key findings, compare them against each other, and then give you a perfectly formatted summary. We're talking about something that takes hours, maybe even days of boring manual research, and turning it into a single task you can just delegate.
Okay, so we've got our idea. Now we move into the actual production, and this is where things start to feel like we're living in the future. Because AI-generated video, it is not a theory anymore. It's here.
And the numbers are just staggering. Some sources are saying that AI-generated content, or AIGC, can boost your production speed by up to 200%. Now, for any YouTuber who's constantly fighting the clock, that is an absolute game changer. Just think about it, being able to make 3 videos in the time it used to take you to make just 1. That's a massive difference.
And look, we're way past the experimental stage here. There was a recent ad for Toys R Us where a huge chunk of it, over 80%, was generated by OpenAI's Sora. This is a perfect example of AI solving real-world production headaches, like crazy high costs and needing a massive crew. All of a sudden, a single creator can generate their own B-roll, create animated sequences, or even entire scenes. You stop being just the camera operator and start acting more like the director.
All right, so the video's in the can. Now comes the part every single creator knows, and let's be honest, probably dreads, the post-production grind. But this is exactly where AI agents can really shine and become like an indispensable channel manager for you.
I mean, think about all the time that just disappears here. An AI agent can take your finished video and just run with it. It can generate the transcript, write a killer YouTube description, draft 5 different tweets to promote it, whip up a newsletter, and schedule everything to go live at the optimal time. It can even dig through market trends or your own comment section to give you ideas for your next video. It is literally an entire marketing and admin team all in.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty incredible, but it's not a magic button. We need to be clear about that. The single most important component in all of this is still you. Your role as a creator isn't going away, it's just evolving. You are still the director of the show.
And a really useful way to think about this is something called the human agency scale. It basically helps you figure out which tasks you can just fully automate and which ones really need your human touch. So low-level stuff like getting a rough first draft of a transcript, yeah, let the AI do that. Full automation. But the big creative calls, like nailing the emotional arc of your script or giving that final approval on the edit, that's human augmentation. The AI is helping you, it's your assistant, but the critical final decisions, those are always yours. You're using it to boost your vision, not to replace it.
And it's super important to be realistic about the limitations here. Because these agents, they can fail. They get stuck on weird steps, they can forget what you told them 10 minutes ago, or they might just make choices that are, well, kind of illogical. And of course, you've got to be super careful with your data and privacy. This is exactly why human oversight is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to be the final quality check. You're the one who makes the ultimate call.
So, we've walked through the entire workflow, all the way from the idea to the final upload. So what's the big takeaway here? Where is all this going?
This, right here, is the core shift. For so long, if you're a solo YouTuber, you've had to be everything. The writer, the director, the editor, the marketer, the community manager. You're the doer of all things. The creator of the future? They're going to be the director of intelligent agents. Your unique value isn't going to be in the nitty-gritty manual labor anymore. It's going to be in your vision, your taste, your strategy, and your ability to lead these incredibly powerful new partners to create something that is 100% yours.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to chew on. As these AI partners get more and more capable, as they help us dream up ideas, create content, and get it out to the world, where does their contribution stop and our own creativity actually begin? When your co-producer is an AI, who really is the creator?